Right, Maggie. Yes. I'm just going to give you the injection now. Okay.
This is Maggie Keenan. She's the first patient to get the COVID-19 shot in the UK, the first Western nation to launch a mass vaccination program amid the pandemic.
Britain becomes a testing ground in the West. In some parts of the world, vaccines have been rolled out already, notably the Russian vaccine and the Chinese vaccine. These vaccines have not undergone basically the rigorous process of testing and approval that this vaccine has gone through and is going through.
To tackle the massive logistical challenge of vaccinating millions of people as quickly as possible, the country's National Health Service, or NHS, is bringing doctors out of retirement and deploying tens of thousands of volunteers.
This is just so exciting. It's a momentous occasion. The NHS has been planning extensively to deliver the largest vaccination programme in our history.
So, how did the UK get here so quickly? And how is it trying to vaccinate much of its population at record speed?
Today, we can announce that the government has accepted the recommendation from the Independent Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency to approve the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine for distribution across the United Kingdom.
Technically, it's not a permanent approval, rather an authorization for emergency use that allows the vaccine to be immediately delivered to vulnerable groups. One reason the UK might have moved faster than the US is the sheer size of the regulatory agencies. The MHRA has a staff of roughly 1,300, while the FDA has a staff of around 17,000.
It's obviously a much bigger market. They have a slightly different procedure. They are going through the data perhaps in a different way.
As BioNTech and Pfizer scientists were busy behind the scenes developing their vaccine, the NHS was making sure hospitals had the equipment needed, including freezers, to store vaccines at a very low temperature of around -94 degrees Fahrenheit. And it trained staff on how to administer the shots, like in this hospital in the city of Coventry.
We expect quite quickly to go up to about 400 a day, and then beyond that 500 and above. And we're putting plans in place already. We're starting to plan if we need to increase that, where do we go next?
Well, the UK strategy for the rollout is to first give it to the most vulnerable people who are at risk of death by COVID-19. And that means that there will be probably kind of mobile teams bringing it to the old people's homes, bringing it to care homes.
The NHS has designated 50 hubs in hospitals across England where vaccines are being shipped, mostly by truck from a factory in Belgium, which comes with huge logistical challenges as the vaccine needs to be stored at such a cold temperature. The BioNTech-Pfizer vaccine requires 2 doses per person, so everyone who gets it will need a second shot 3 to 4 weeks after their first one. The shots will be distributed to people based on a 9-tier priority list, with an estimated 6 million people who would get them first.
We are aiming for those aged over 80, care home staff, and then of course our health and social care family.
The US has announced a similar strategy to prioritize the elderly and healthcare workers. In the UK, the government has also said later on it could turn sports centers and conference halls into mass vaccination centers.
It's amazing to see the vaccine coming out. It's amazing to see this tremendous shot in the arm for the entire nation, but we can't afford to relax now.
The UK has rolled out emergency mass vaccinations before, like in the 1960s for smallpox and 2010 for the swine flu. But the COVID-19 shot will be the first time this specific type of mRNA vaccine is used. Since the COVID-19 vaccine is so new, the world will be watching for any potential long-term side effects, as well as anything more they can learn about its effectiveness.
So far in the trials, the side effects have been minor. What happens now is when, in a case of an emergency authorization, normally authorities should be keeping tabs on every single person who receives the vaccine, and they should be monitoring whatever side effects come in the immediate aftermath of the vaccination.
Several other pharmaceutical companies are racing to develop and get approval for their own COVID-19 vaccines. They'll be watching Pfizer's supply chain closely, as they expect intense demand for their product. The US, which could also authorize the Pfizer vaccine in December, will have its eye out on any potential obstacles in the UK rollout. Pfizer has already had to cut its shipment projections for 2020 in half because of supply chain issues.
This is the kind of first time that a vaccine will be administered in a country where there will be very close and meticulous monitoring, both from the regulators, by the scientists, by the companies, and obviously by the general public and the media.